Feel the details in the animation. Enjoy the lives within the story. Hello everyone. I am Lao Tan. This episode is twist after twist, then another twist. The ending even plays with a bit of reverse chronology. What do you all think of this episode? No one skipped the post-credits scene, right? This time I'll give everyone a simple breakdown of Li Xingyun and Zhang Zifen's plan. I hope all Buliang Ren fans can communicate more. To understand the plot, you must start from the episode 11 preview. The chessboard and drifting leaves at the beginning of the preview already hint at the gentleman. The person playing chess with Li Xingyun in the OP is Zhang Zifen. Judging from the bamboo behind Lin Xian and Ji Ruxue, the two are secretly watching their brothers play chess. After the chess match, or rather, after discussing their plan, the two collapse lazily. Then Lin Xian pinches Zhang Zifen, while Ji Ruxue stares at the empty doorway. This is the scene where the two pretend to break ties, and Li Xingyun silently leaves. If Li Xingyun's two bamboo leaves on his eyes are a subtle hint, then Zhang Zifen's deal with Wen Tao and Jiang Qin is the explicit confirmation. All the open and hidden struggles in Season 6 are under the calculations of Li Xingyun and Zhang Zifen. Zhang Zifen's reflection in Li Xingyun's eyes in the OP also points this out clearly. In earlier episodes I already thought the two were performing a double act all along. Now it's pretty much confirmed. With this premise, let's look at episode 10 again. Everything becomes clear. Months ago, the Grand Marshal and the Empress discussed the sword and the Mabe people outside the city. Many generals mocked the Empress for not caring about the Marshal. Then the Grand Marshal exposed the Empress's entire situation, laying out all the pros and cons, and offering one solution: go to Luoyang. But notice, Mabe agreeing to go to Luoyang does not mean they actually want to trade power. The Empress's overall strength cannot defeat Li Xiyuan. Occupying Luoyang is ultimately to gain more benefits. Mabe's successful takeover of Luoyang reveals a lot of information. First, Mabe's army could pressure Luoyang without Li Xiyuan noticing, meaning they have ways to avoid his surveillance. This shows Li Xiyuan that his own faction is not as united as he thought. Second, if Mabe occupies Luoyang, Li Xiyuan must win the people's support. He cannot engage in a direct war. If he fights, the civilians of Luoyang would be the first to die. At the same time, Li Xiyuan knows the Empress wants an exchange of benefits. So no matter what, this battle cannot truly happen. By now the Empress is convinced by the Grand Marshal. But entering Luoyang requires help from others. Whether the Buliang Ren can play this role is still uncertain. The Empress then uses a bet to make the Grand Marshal prove Buliang Ren's strength. In fact, the Grand Marshal plays a trick. A swap in the dark. He sneaks 3,000 members of Yuan Shui court into the Mabe camp. Whether or not he can save Prince Qi, he shows the Empress Buliang Ren's ability for secret infiltration. And the conversation between Yuan Shui court and Li Tsunli's mole also lets the Empress understand the reason the Grand Marshal dares lead her to Luoyang. We can see that Season SX's plot is tightly interlinked. Each step foreshadows the next. A complete loop of setup and payoff. Arriving inside Luoyang, on the city wall, the Empress sarcastically accuses the Grand Marshal of colluding with the enemy, mocking his ruthless tactics. She tries to overpower him in momentum, because Mabe's entry into Luoyang relies on Buliang Ren's infiltration. The Grand Marshal's counterattack is simple. He reminds her of poisoning the Mabe king, warning her that Buliang Ren's backup plans are far beyond what she sees. From the dancing Mabe inside the hall to the later threat against officials' families, the Empress clearly knew of these acts. This is another piece of foreshadowing. The internal political scene is quite good. We all know the Grand Marshal brought Mabe to Luoyang to pave the way for Zhang Zifen's version of Li Xiyuan's ascension. With this in mind, the political dialogue becomes meaningful. The official enters and immediately curses Buliang Ren as thieves, trying to reset everyone's mindset, so they won't be suppressed by the Grand Marshal. The Grand Marshal responds by praising him excessively, then puts his hands behind his back and says, "I admire you." With the posture of admiration and superiority, he highlights the difference in status, making everyone aware of the current political situation. The official then criticizes Buliang Ren's founding ideals, claiming the Buliang Shui divided the land. This conveniently gives the Grand Marshal an opening. He immediately emphasizes the importance of the people's well-being, guiding the official to focus on how dividing territory harms the nation. This fuels the official's hatred for territorial division. Then the Grand Marshal vents his frustration, mocking their hypocrisy. But he still subtly hints. You shout about caring for the nation, yet all wait for someone to unite the world. But that person is dead. The official snaps, shouting that regardless of any excuse, dividing the land is unforgivable. Even if they fear death, they will not betray the country. Good. The Grand Marshal is pleased. Imagine, when Li Siyuan also divides the land, how will everyone react? And if, at that moment, someone legitimate and capable of unifying the world appears, what then? But that's not enough. To ensure the legitimate successor ascends the throne, they need an insurance policy. And they need reputation. The insurance is the families of the officials. You look familiar. Since the child is innocent, I'll start with the child. This forces the officials to yield. Xiaobei's acting is quite good. Bu Liangren's coordination is strong. Just when all the officials hate the Grand Marshal for dividing the land, Master Zhang is imprisoned outside. Their dialogue is just acting, stalling for time. But Zhang Zifan may have actually forgotten his lines. At this moment, Tian Fu kills all Bu Liangren inside and rescues all the officials and their families. With this, Zhang Zifan's reputation reaches an important peak, setting up his future ascension. Then, right after Bu Liangren dies, the Mabe arrive. Not a coincidence. To summarize, the Empress is in Luoyang for a benefit exchange with Li Siyuan. Although she has proven Mabe's strength, it is not enough to make Li Siyuan yield. Since it's an exchange, Li Siyuan must also gain something. And that something is the Bu Liangren power inside Luoyang. If he wants land, fine. But he must eliminate the Bu Liangren in the city. At the end, the Empress arrives to kill them openly. If the officials were still there, her actions would imply Mabe and the regent have reached an agreement. This would sow internal dissatisfaction and influence Li Siyuan. But Zhang Zifan rescues the officials first. And Bu Liangren deliberately tells the Grand Marshal that Tian Fu was already ambushing. Zhang Zifan's moves are logical from both Li Siyuan's and the Empress's perspective. They just never expected he was working with the Grand Marshal. Everything was a setup. Their plan is finally halfway complete. But Jing Shima, aren't you acting a little too intensely? Half a month later, Bu Liangren are wanted. The posters show events of the next or following episode. The rebel Bu Liangren colluded with the enemy and attempted to ambush the new emperor in the Western Palace during the coronation. It seems the Western Palace will be Yuanga's final battlefield, and Regent Li Siyuan is ready to ascend the throne. Yes, it is I. Turns out Xiaobei also knows the Grand Marshal's identity. The only ones still clueless are Lin Xian and Ji Ruxue. Li Xingyun, you really know how to torment people. So that's it for this episode. I hope this simple breakdown helps you better understand the plan the two devised against Li Siyuan. If you think this was alright, don't forget to like, comment, and follow me. It really matters a lot to me. Thank you all Bu Liangren supporters. See you in the next video.